Hello and welcome everyone. We are very happy to welcome you to this new Talent Academy Tech Edition. During 1 hour, we will offer you to discover the latest tech and HR news, but also to make a tour of the companies that are recruiting. Today, we will have a tech testimony with Guillaume, HR tips and news on job interviews with me, Tips of the month with Audrey, Future of Work with Julianne, focus on hiring IT companies with Tien, and we will end with a Q&A session. We start now with Guillaume. Welcome, Guillaume.
Hello, everyone.
So, Guillaume, who are you and what do you do for a living?
So I'm Guillaume. I'm 22, and now for 3 years now, I'm the head of data of the Anywhere company.
Okay. So, what are, according to you, the two main qualities to have for this job?
First of all, it's you have to be curious because the data technology have a lot of innovations, and you need to be aware of every new technology and every new way to process the data, analyze the data. So you really need to be curious. And so with this curiosity, you need to have a lot of energy and to be really proactive and have a lot of things to do and different things to do. So you need really to have curiosity and energy.
Okay. And have you always done this?
So I just have a developer cursus, a classic cursus of developer, and then I just be aware around the data technology and just make improve myself about these subjects. So I worked for 5 years as data engineer, and then I moved to Anywhere to become a head of data.
Okay. And what do you like about your job?
What I like is like I can mix some mathematical problems with real problems in the real life. So I really love some mathematics and some scientific problems and something to solve, which is really high level. But now with this job, I can just mix the real problematics we could have in the society and try to help it with my knowledge about the mathematics and statistics. So it's really grateful to exist.
Okay. And what do you want to do next?
First of all, I want to just grow up my team because we need a lot of specific technicians around the data, and I will explain to you every kind of jobs we could have in the data team. And then just want to enhance my management skills.
Okay. And finally, what do you like the most here?
Uh, I think in Anywhere, what is the most value we could have is that we can change the life with every kind of task you are doing on your day. It could have a lot of impacts for the life of the people who you are working on. So it's really grateful, and you cannot do this in every other company. So the fact that each task I done here have an impact for a real person and not just to optimize some financial system or some network systems, it's really grateful.
Okay. Thank you, Guillaume. It was very interesting to have your feedback. So you will now present to us the data jobs.
Yeah. So the data jobs are really kind of unclear when you are listing every data jobs in the list on the job boards. So I think it could be clear for you to just have some explanations of the kind of classic job positions you could see on the job board. So first of all, we talk about the data analyst. So data analyst is just about analysis the data, as the name said, but without really go deeper on the analysis. So you just have to organize, synthesize, and translate business data to provide some indicators and to make the job and the analysis of the business more easier for all managers or business managers. Um, the counterpart of the data analyst is the data scientist, which is the next job that I will present to you, which is he works closely with the data analyst, because sometimes the simple data you can collect from all your tools and all your inputs are not just easy to analyze, and you need to make some to add some value and to enhance your data to have more value and more complex value. So this is the job of the data scientist, which will have a more mathematical background, in which he will try to understand what the data analyst needs to provide as indicators, and to make the right algorithm to provide the new values that the data analyst could exploit. So the goal of the data scientist is really to use, analyze, and evaluate the weight of the data, the structure, unstructured, in order to establish scenarios for understanding and anticipating future business. The part of the job also is to clean the data, because sometimes you have a lot of inputs of data and a lot of different kinds of data, which are structured or unstructured. And the goal of the data scientist is to try to have this data really clean, in order to be easier for the data analyst and for the algorithm he tried to develop to be more efficient. I cannot remember what is the next job. So yes, it's mine. So head of data or chief data officer, which is also related to data governor, but you can also have a specific job, data governor, and also the head of data, that you could have two people to do this kind of job. So the CDO, so chief data officer, is just the person who is responsible to manage all the data parts of the company. So it could be from the tool you will use to manage the business data, to how you collect and store it into some database structure, and then how you can see how you can make the governance of the data. So which is the master of this data, which is just the slave of the data. Master and slave is just who is responsible to edit this data, and slave is who is responsible to only read this data. So you have also to manage the data governance policy and to communicate about how you can access to the data, how you can edit the data, what you can do, what you cannot do, and something like this. So it's very transverse, very general mission, and most of the time the CDO just have the help of other people that can be more specific on some tasks. So for example, you have people who are responsible to make all the documentation for the data governance. You have some people who are more responsible to be sure that every collectors of the data are alive and up to date, and something like this. So the role is just to have very an overview of everything related to the data from the company. Next job, we will just try to explain to you what is a data engineer, and we could also talk about the data architect. Even if we have some little differences, we'll try to explain to you what is the role of both of these jobs. So the data engineers is the persons who develops, builds, and maintains the data infrastructures from the tool the business people use to the database. So the role is just to be sure that the infrastructures is well sized around the volume of the data you can treat in real time or with some batch. He is responsible also to be aware about the new technologies that appears to process the data and to try to implement them and to make some tests to optimize everything. And so the goal also is to be sure that you will have the right database for the right type of data you want to collect. So for example, if you need to have some specific structure, you will have a specific database, and if the data are more unstructured and more on the flow, you will have another type of database. So this is the goal of the data engineer. So you see, it's really different from the data scientist and data analysts, which are more on the value of the data, and the data engineer for more works on the flow on the data. That's all for all the specifics job about the data. And now we'll just show you some specific architecture about how you can collect, how everything is well connected. So this little graph show you that you will have the good data governor, head of data CTOs that manage everything. I will also explain to you some specific vocabulary around the data. So in the left part, you have the data lake. So data lakes represents all the data you collect directly from your tools, or for your external tools, or for your websites, without any transformation and any cleaning or something like this. It's just raw data in which you will collect this. So we call this data lake. It could be references one on 10,000 databases. Depends of how big is your company, how much data you have. So the data is not just collecting only one database. We just call data lake all the databases in which you will have raw data. Data scientists works on these databases. They don't work on the data warehouse, which is on the right side. And the data warehouse is all the data coming from the data lake, and in which you will apply some transformation to have business value for business purpose. So, and that's on this data warehouse, the data analyst works to get some indicators to provide for the business manager, and the data scientist works on the data lake to try to clean and to add value regarding and implement some algorithms to add value and push it to the data warehouse. And the data engineer is responsible of the flow between the data lake and the transformation between the data lake to the data warehouse. That's why. You could also talk about the data steward, which is a data quality officer and or data lineage. It's just the people who is responsible to be sure that everything is transformed and to document that everything is transformed like this from the data lake to the data warehouse. So it's responsible to be sure that everything is documented and implemented. So we have also another diagram that could explain some other words to you. So we talk about also data ops or data operational peoples. These people are responsible to create, update, and maintain the infrastructure of the databases and the connectors you could use. So for example, the data ops are responsible to just give you the infrastructure of the databases in which you will store all the raw data, so your data lake. So for example, for the data lake, you could have Excel files, Oracle database, MySQL, RSS flow, and so on. And for the data warehouse, generally it's more structured because you won't have to have more value and business meaning on the table you will and the database you want to get some data. So you will have some MySQL, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, Cassandra, and so on. And for also you have lots of database based on the cloud performance like GCP or AWS. So every cloud provider give us all the databases possible and all type of databases possible. And for the data engineering tool, you will talk about the data flow as Kafka, RabbitMQ. So it's kind of queue in which you put some events and you can consume the events to apply some transformation or to store it simply. And all this system is called ETL or ELT, so extract, transform, and load, or in the other part, extract, load, and transform. The goal is just to have a meaning of what we are doing. We extract in the data lake, we transform through the data flow, and we load to the data warehouse. And sometimes you do in the order between the transform and the load. So I think that's all for my part. Thank you for listening and have a good day.
Thank you, Guillaume. So if you have any questions for him, don't hesitate to ask us in the comments. We will answer it at the end. So let's go to the next part. So you are looking for a dream job and you have landed a job interview. Congratulations. Now you will have to convince the recruiter that you are the right person for the job. You need to prepare for a job interview. But how? The answer right away. So, prepare your interview. When responding to an offer, read the offer again to remind yourself of the following 5 points. First, the proposed missions. You must clearly have in mind what the recruiter expects of you in terms of daily performance. Second point, the responsibilities relating to the position. Take up the terms of the offer, which gives you elements on what depends on you, the objectives to reach, the projects to carry out, the people to manage, etc. Third point, the recruiter expectations in terms of skills. We will find the knowledge, the know-how, and the interpersonal skills. Fourth point, the recruiter expectations in terms of experience. Is he or she looking for someone who has already worked in the same sector of activity? Someone who has already had a similar position, who has worked in a company of the same size or with the same values, etc. And fifthly, the proposed working conditions, like location, hours, status, salary, and benefits, such as health insurance, a company car, a telephone, etc. These are often these elements you can discuss if the salary is non-negotiable. So, review your general knowledge. To prepare the interview well, you should review 6 main criteria. First, the organization. Are there subsidiaries? What about the parent company? Second, the financial health of the company. Third, the business sector, the sector of activity. Fourth, the products and services. Fifth, the positioning, the market positioning. You need to know the competitor. And finally, the company values and the company culture. This allows you to prove your interest and motivation to the recruiter. After that, prepare your personal presentation. You should prepare your personal presentation in order to highlight your strengths for the position you are applying for. This personal presentation will allow you to answer the question that starts most interviews, namely, tell me about yourself or introduce yourself. There is no need to repeat your first and last name, your age and your address, as the recruiter already knows it. Here, you can build your answer in 4 main points. First, your professional background in 2 or 3 steps and 1 sentence per step. Secondly, your expertise. You explain here how are different from others, what is your specialty, what are your skills, and you illustrate with 2 or 3 achievements, experience in line with your professional project. Third, your personality. And fourth, your professional project. Here you can describe your target, your objectives, You must be able to present in a synthetic way the concordance of your profile with the position. So, prepare the presentation of your career path. You must be prepared to talk about everything on your CV, highlighting what you have learned at each step and how your choices have contributed to your development, so that today you find yourself in front of a recruiter with the skills, experience, and personality that are appropriate for the position you are applying for. If you are told, tell me about an experience you are particularly proud of, or tell me about your last job, you must be able to answer in a structured and synthetic way. To do this, there is the STAR method. STAR method, what is it? It's S for situation, description of a context which allows you to give a global vision to your interlocutor. T for task, which designates the mission and the objectives to be achieved. A for action, which correspond to all the actions you have initiated to succeed in the task. And R for result, which allows you to underline the result and effects of your action, notably by mentioning figures. So, it's a big day. What do you do for the big day? On the day of the appointment, you must be punctual. First thing. So, if you have not been able to find the place before the appointment, plan a margin that will allow you to be early, even if you have to wait outside. This will avoid additional stress. After that, if you depend on public transportation, anticipate your departure in order to avoid any delay beyond your control. If you are traveling by car, consider traffic problems. Bring a copy of your CV, cover letter, and job offer with you so that you have everything in front of you during the interview. Also, take with you a notebook to record important information that the recruiter will give you during the interview. Be sure to dress in a way that is appropriate for the position and the company you are going to. On the big day, try to use positive communication. When you speak, you can use negative language without realizing it, even when expressing positive feelings. By changing some of your language, you may be able to distinguish yourself and score points by radiating more. You have to practice active listening too. Practicing active listening means being able to use questioning, to remain silent at the right moment, and to reformulate. All of this allows you to retrieve the information that will allow you to give the right answers. Do not hesitate to ask questions. It is a way to show your dynamism, your interest, and your curiosity. It is a way to obtain information that will help you understand the recruiter's expectations and the specifics of the position. Your goal is to get as much information as possible, and to do this, avoid closed questions, those that can only be answered with yes and no. So, post-interview, after the big day, don't miss to write a report on the interview with the embarrassing question you were unable to answer. When you leave your interview, write down the question that embarrassed you and that you were unable to answer. If you were asked this question once, there is a good chance that they will be asked again. You will have to think about it in order to be ready for the next time. Also, note the arguments that did not have the effect you expected and that you want to work on. Also, the answers that made a positive effect and that came to you spontaneously, so you can use them again during the next interview. So, after an interview, it is a good practice to send a thank you email to the person who interviewed you. So you can first thank the recruiter for his or her time, and then restate the main points and confirm your interest in the position. Few people think or dare to do this, but adopting this reflex, you will score points and leave a good impression on the recruiter. This email is the first step of your follow-up. At the end of the interview, you ask what the deadline for response would be. After this time, and without any news for the recruiter, you can contact him, her, again to find out where the recruitment process is at. This is another way to show your determination and motivation. You can do this by email or by telephone. In case of a negative answer and without any information explaining the refusal of your application, you must ask for explanation in order to be able to change your approach. So, thank you very much. Now, welcome Audrey, who is product owner. She will present us the monthly tip.
Hello everybody. I hope you are all doing great today, and thank you, Antoine. What we will see today is a functionality to store in a safe and centralized place all the documents you will need during your interaction with Anywhere. The main purpose for you and us is to provide quickly all what is needed, let's say for a recruitment process, a mobility process, or a training. Antoine, you can share the next slide. So basically what we will have and what we will see in this section is the document list where you will store every documents needed based on every types, let's say CV, diplomas, passport, work permit, rental insurance, certificate. The way we did it is to simplify the document exchange with you and Anywhere team. And you will find an access directly to your document to execute quickly your project of recruitment to find a job or expatriation or a training. So now we will move on the talent portal and I will explain this section. Antoine, you can confirm everybody is seeing my screen? I'm sure it is okay. So here, welcome into the talent portal. We will be in the shoes of William Cooper, who is a developer working in Toronto. First, when we access this talent portal, we access by default to the profile, and we can see that William Cooper has already filled in a lot of information, such as identity information, presentation, languages, skills of William, work experience, and education. Then, in the job preferences, I will go quickly on this part also. William has described the job he would like to have, the dream job he would like to have in terms of job definition, salary, workplaces, where he would like to work, and availability. Now we will move on the document section we have an interest on today. So here what you can see is the list of documents William Cooper has already shared with us. He has shared, as you can see, a passport, a CV, and a diploma. So now we will check how to add a document. So it is on the right here, add documents. And let's say we will add a certificate. So this document is linked to experiences. William Cooper has already shared a CV, a diploma, and he will share a certificate. So he selects like that. And then he will drop the file he would like to have. So let's say certification William Cooper, add this document, and that's it. So here we have a new document in the list. This is a certification. As you can see, we have different status here, two status, one which is called available, other one which is called in process. Available, it means that William Cooper has delivered this document and it can be used now by an expert. But just in case William Cooper would like to remove this document and give another one, is still able to delete it. In process, this is a status to inform William Cooper that this document is already used for a recruitment in the case of a CV or a diploma, and it's better not to remove this document. Now we will check the list of documents we have developed. So I will click again on Add Document, and here what you can see, we have a tremendous list of documents we can fill in. All this list of documents type are listed by a category. So experience, as we have seen, CV, diploma, certificate are grouped into experiences. We have documents linked to identity, such as ID card, passport, health insurance. We have documents related to freelance. Let's say we have KB's business registration number, professional insurance. And we have also documents linked to employment, like employment contract, vehicle, like driving license, international work, like permit, work or residence permit, visa, and documents related to housing. Let's say you have a relocation to be done and you need to provide different information, such as house insurance, third-party guarantee, rent receipts. So here, let's say we will provide something. William Cooper is in process with an expert in anywhere, and he needs mobility. So he will provide, let's say, a work visa inside international work. So he click here, he drops the file, and let's say he will add this document. As we can see, this document is also added and available for an expert to provide a mobility. I think I am finished, Antoine, and that's okay for me. Don't hesitate to download today and now the talent application on your mobile, and it is available, as you can see, on the store. You can see here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. So now Julianne, who is committee lead at Anywhere, is going to talk to you about Digital Nomad. So welcome, Julianne.
Thank you, Antoine. Thank you for having me, and hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here today to speak about the digital nomads. First of all, of course, what is a digital nomad? It's a 100% remote worker who travels and works at the same time, and usually leaving their country of residence to travel and live their best life. We started spotting digital nomads a few years ago, but truly the pandemic and its economic consequences like lockdowns, loss of jobs, etc., have contributed to the decision of many workers to start a new life. And it's not about to change because, as you can see on the screen, a few digital nomads surveyed are living truly their best life. For example, more than 80% of them are highly satisfied with their new life or new job. 70% of them say that they don't work more than 40 hours a week, and 49% earn the same salary or even more as their previous office job. So that's a point that you should consider. For the moment, not all countries have specific visas for digital nomads, and in some cases, visitor or entrepreneur visas may allow such an activity, but you must check each case individually. Of course, you don't want to be kicked out of the country by the police, so you must be really careful about that. Since the pandemic, some countries have started to set up visas dedicated to digital nomads, which you can see the list on the screen with the associated initial durations, and most of them are renewable once or twice for periods started from a few months and up to 2 years. Other countries are planning to set up specific visas for digital nomads in a few months to come, and we'll keep you updated on that. So stay tuned on our LinkedIn page. Can everyone become a digital nomad? Of course, yes. From the backpacker to the retiree, from the ultra-connected 2.0 family to the entrepreneur, everyone can take the plunge into the nomad life. But we have a few tips for you if you decide to change your life. First of all, subscribe a travel health insurance, and it's easier if it's in your country of origin, of course. Equip yourself to work. Finding a good internet connection is one thing, but also think about having a reliable VPN. A VPN, if you don't know what it is, it's a virtual private network, and it's clearly essential to protect your online privacy, especially when you depend on public Wi-Fi connection to work, and a decent IT equipment that will follow you in your adventures all around the world. And our last tip is, of course, don't hesitate to get and find a professional to accompany you if you have any doubts about the administrative procedures, because it can be very overwhelming sometimes. But we do have dedicated teams of experts willing to help you guys in any case. Thank you a lot. Thank you, Antoine, for having me today.
Thank you, Julianne. We now welcome Tien, who is business development consultant at Anywhere. So, welcome, Tien. You are going to tell us about the company and the offers of the month. Can you tell us more about it?
All right. So, hi everyone. It's a pleasure for me to join this Talent Academy with all of you. I know that my presentation is nearing at the end of the show, but stay tuned because I still have lots of interesting information and special guests waiting for you. So my name is Tien, and currently I'm working as a business developer at Anywhere. My main scope is to become the right hand of companies in handling the shortage of talents, to building bridges and reducing all barriers between talents and company together with our unique digital ecosystems. So I guess that's the reason why I'm here today to present to you all the talents who are watching this webinar in many countries with some exciting job offers that we are working on. So let's see what it is in the next slides. So as you can see here, so first one, we have a pre-sales consultant located in Hanoi, Vietnam. This job comes from a global fintech company with remote working mode and completely giving you the flexibility time and working with international clients. So number two, we will have integration engineer. This job located in Mumbai, India, also come from a global fintech company. And just so you know, this is an on-site job, but rest assured that you will definitely get the most dedicated support for the relocation part. Three, we have DevOps engineer job located in Malaysia and Indonesia. This offer came from an IT services company in Europe, and it is a full-time remote job. Four, we have senior real-time VFX artist located in Vietnam from a leading company in gaming from Europe. We are completely open to expat with the full support of immigrations and relocations. Finally, automation mobile testing engineer, also located in Vietnam from a well-known Korean product-based company with significant technology ecosystems and working also with hybrid mode. So if you see yourself as a perfect match for the above offers, just feel free to contact me or our team for a further assistance. Or if anyone has crossed your mind at this moment that seems appropriate for the job, then your referrals to other talents is also greatly appreciated from our side. And last but not least, at Anywhere, you know, we always take pride of our clients. And as I mentioned earlier, we will have a very special guest to join this Talent Academy. I would like to introduce to you one of our key clients, Sparks, a Vietnam leading production studio that offers a super range of end-to-end solutions for game art and animations. So Ming, he's currently the recruitment team leader of Sparks, will introduce to you more about his company and some jobs offer that he's get for the next presentations. Thank you so much. Before we get into the Sparks introductions, let's see a short video about the company. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, very nice. Thank you for the introduction and the cool video. It's always thrilled to speak after that video. So I'm Ming. I'm the recruitment team lead of Sparks or Virtuous Vietnam. So the naming might be confusing, so bear with me. I will share the story very fast so that you know about the company, what's it about, what we do, and probably if you are interested, and we may have a few positions open for you. Tien, please. How do I change the slide here? Okay. Can you move back? All right. So this is history of Sparks. So originally, Sparks was an animation studio. We were founded in the year 1995 in Paris, and in the year 2000, a group of Parisian came to Vietnam and made a branch called Sparks Vietnam, animation only. We only have like 16 animators. Uh, well, let's say this company brought the whole animation industry to this country itself. We hired nobodies, no artists. We just hired from the street. That's what they call that. And we teach them art, animation, 3D art, and we worked on a few big projects. Not, I don't know, it's internationally big, but for European, a few TV series for a few years. Our big boom was in the year 2008. So we worked on Igor. It's a feature-length animation movies, not Disney or Pixar level, but it's good. Like John Cusack doing the voice and everything. Everybody loved it, but unfortunately, financially unstable, hurt Sparks in France, and we got to close down that branch. So the group of people in Vietnam branched out to search for investor. Then we found Virtuous. Virtuous back then were a game studio located in Shanghai, founded by a Ubisoft higher ranking member. So he's still now our CEO. And in the year 2011, we were acquired by Virtuous and was made Virtuous Vietnam. We was we were kept doing movies and animation for a few years. So as you can see, Virtuous, because they were an a game studio. So with a team of animators and CG artists we have in Vietnam, we started to work on some big VFX movies projects as well. We got a very close relationship with Lucasfilms. That's why you see Star Wars. So in the slides and in the projects, everything Star Wars goes through Sparks in Virtuous. We and then Lucasfilm got acquired by Disney. Then we got to jump on MCU stuff, some other big titles for Disney as well, and that goes on for a few years and until the year 2017. We again shifted our gear toward video games, not just movies. So right now, in the year 2022 and onwards, we position ourselves as a video game studio that works on various types of projects that you just see. And it's not just some separate types of work. We work from end to end. We got a brief and we deliver the playable. So please go to the next slide so I can elaborate better. This is virtuous. Okay, I just speak the whole thing. Move on. So this is the map of virtuous. So right now the HQ is located in Singapore. We're still a private company planning to go public soon. Right now we have more than 2,000, 3,000 people around the world. And offices, yeah, so you can see that we have the the blue dots. They are just for marketing and BD, so business developer going find client project, and the offices, which is located in Shanghai and Chengdu in Asian countries, where we actually sit down and produce the work, to produce the video games, the movies that you just saw. And in Ho Chi Minh City right now, we have 600 people, and this is very international company. I hired people from North America, South America, Africa, everywhere. So we have up to 30 expats that we relocate with the family to Vietnam, and that happens the same to our Chinese studio or Dublin or North America. And within Virtuous, we have a mobility system. So if you work for one Virtuous for a certain amount of years and certified as mobility ready personnel, and that's when you can pick and choose another studio and work for several years, or just settle down in a new country. And we fully support that. Yep. So please, next slide. So let's talk about our service. So if you play video games, then you should be familiar with these terms. If not, then I'll try to dumb it down a bit. So cinematics, it's a newer wave in video games. So it's a mixture between animation movies and video games. So cutscenes, for example, or trailers, those are really technical movies making pipeline that we have to abide by the client's standard and workflow. And this picture right here is from a project that we worked with Riot Games, very big. They are the makers of League of Legends, but this is the other titles, Legends of Runeterra. For the next slide, please. Yep, League of Legends, as said. But for League of Legends, we don't just work on cinematics, but we also have our hands on the character workflow. So I don't know if you play League of Legends. Is great games. So they have like hundreds of champions, and each of champions they have variations we call skin, and every year they sell more skin to the player. So this is a free game, right? So they need to develop more content as skins for the champions, and they come to studio like Spark. So they just put down a keyword, a theme, sometimes some sketch, and we work on everything. We develop the whole idea of the character. So this team is big. We have a big, like 60 people just for League of Legends, and we've been doing great. We got shout out every time on Riot Games social media. And for the next type of projects, please, levels. So game levels, it's like the whole environment of the gaming itself. So your character will walk around that environment. You interact with the environment and the NPC non-playable character. So we designed the whole thing for this game. This is Amber Labs titles for it released last year, a AAA game, pretty cool. Yeah, so levels, big, please. And yeah, we still work on movies, yes, because this is our route. Our movies, we call it film artists, are still very passionate about their project and their craft, and we are still very close with Disney and Lucasfilm. So, for your information, we've been working on several projects of the Disney Plus TV series for both Marvels and Star Wars, to name a few: Loki, WandaVision, this one, Mandalorian, season 1 and season 2, and a few more to come. We still work on movies. Sometimes we have to push back some little more, little less desirable project. So that's the position that we are in. We got to pick and choose what we would like to do next. And this is our model, and I think this is a great model and a great business model as well. We make games better together. So we are a co-developing studio of our clients. So these projects you see right here comes from Sony, come from Respawn, Activision, everywhere. And we actually produce the work for them. And for this very specific project called the Tomb Raider, we worked on more than 50% of the content for the game. And if you ask me, if you work more than 50% of a project, this is your project. It's not a client project anymore. But we don't get to talk about that. But we get paid, right? So we are in the middle point of the business. Usually, when a publisher they develop and they publish their games, they need to really worry about the outcome. If it is well received, good critics, we don't care about that. We work and we get the money. And if the project is well received, we got a shout out and we go on our social media saying, hey, we worked on that. And those are our work. No one can argue with that. But if it's not good, like it's just, yeah, a so-so game, we got one post and we leave. So we got the fame and the name, and we get everything we would like to. We got to pick that. And we, thanks to, well, it's not a good word, but thanks to COVID, people stay at home and they play video games a lot. And the whole industry like skyrocketed for the past 2 3 years, and we are expanding real fast, real hard in the past 1 and 1.5 year. That's why I need to reach out to more and more headhunters locally and internationally, and anywhere landed where I need them the most, and they delivered. So thank you very much. Yeah, so that is my company.
Thank you so much, Ming.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Tien and Min, for all this information. And if you are interested in some job offers, don't hesitate to contact Tien. Her email address is in comments.
Yeah. So thank you very much
Thank you.
for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. So this new edition will soon end. But before that, let's have a Q&A. So do you have any question? It's time. Well, I don't know if you have some question. So no question. Don't hesitate to contact Tien by email if you have more question after the webinar. Okay. I think we have no question. So it's okay for all. So okay, I think we can close this Talent Academy. So thank you all of us, all of you, and see you soon. One question for Tien. So if you are fully remote, can you be in another country then?
I'm sorry, Anton, can...
If you are fully remote, can you be in another country then?
If they are fully remote, can you be in another... I still don't get these questions very clear.
I can have it if you want. I
Yeah.
think the question is, can you work remotely in a country and work for another country? And I think we have a lot of position available on our website, anywhere.io, where you can work remotely for a different country. So it depends. It is explained and described on the job offer description. So yes, we have this opportunity.
Okay. So we have another questions where I can see the open jobs. So you can see all our open jobs on anywhere.io. All the jobs are on the platform. Okay. So I will message Jen, no problem. Okay. I would like to know what openings you have for Java developers. So I invite you to go to our website. So it's anywhere.io. to see all our job for Java developers. What is Tien's email? So, Tien, can you repeat your email?
Just
Comment,
a second
please.
for me. I just have a little problem with the connection, so can you just repeat the questions for me, please?
Okay, so if you can send another time your email on comments, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We have a question. Do I need a job permit to work remotely? So
The answer is no, probably, because you are staying in your home country, and if you are only working remotely, it means that you don't have to travel and you don't need a special paper needed for a special country. So it's a generic answer. But maybe if you need to travel in the case to meet some people specifically and sometimes maybe you will need some specific paper, but I would say if you work remotely with no traveling, there is no work permit needed.
okay, thank you, Audrey. So no more question. I think it's okay. So thank you. This New Talent Academy is now over. Thank you all and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.